Hi, welcome to KilKare Speedway, and yes, we're here with the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, plus the Legends cars. Good evening, I'm Nate Pennington. I'd like to thank you for buying this Pinstroke Productions At the Track videotape, and in just a moment we're going to start out with the heat races for the Legends cars and move into the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series heat races, and of course finish it up with all the feature racing action. So we'll have all of it in just a moment. We see the crew coming out on the track, and we're just about ready to get started. And as promised, heat race number 1 for the Legends cars. Mike Ladman on the pole. Outside him, Ronnie Souders in the 75. Greg Boyd in the 68. I believe that's the 2 of Mike Brodus. And then Brian Knuckles in the 59 and the 0 of Kenny Rice. And I missed one up there beside Brian Knuckles, and I'll get it as soon as the camera pans around here. Legends car is going to take a couple laps. There's the 2 of Mike Brodus, and it's the 27 of, let's see, one of the Sloan boys, Brian Sloan. In a moment, the green flag. They come out of turn number 4. Mike Ladman, car number 88, your leader, but barely over the 68 of Greg Boyd and the 75 of Ronnie Souders. Been watching this 75 car for the past few weeks. This man has gotten continually faster each and every week. He's really getting these little electric car figured out, and he's moving right up to the front. Looking on the high side of Mike Ladman, your leader. Greg Boyd's still right there. He is second for the moment, but it depends on what section of track you're looking on. And now, the 59 of Brian Knuckles on the inside, the 2 of Mike Brodus on the outside. That is 5 cars battling for the lead. And shall we forget about the 0 of Ken Rice, and for that matter, the 7 of, and we got one spinning. Ladman into the infield, your leader. He gets back out, but he is almost a lap down, as now the 75 of Souders, your leader. Still battling 3 wide back there for a second. That is the 68 of Greg Boyd, the 0 of Ken Rice, and the 2 of Mike Brodus. They all benefited from that incident, and the ones that had problems from that incident, of course, were the 75 of Ronnie Souders as the white flag comes out, and the 59 of Brian Knuckles. Excuse me, it was the 88 of Ladman that had the problem. There comes the 88 of Mike Ladman, your original leader. Your winner's going to be the 75 of Ronnie Souders. Greg Boyd in the 68 is going to come home second. Third will go to Ken Rice. Fourth to the 2 of Mike Brodus. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 27 of Brian Sloan. Once again, your winner, car number 75. There he is, Ronnie Souders. Hi. Number 2, 14, Dave Dysart, 00, Bill Linden. 4 is Pat Flanagan. 41, Tony Celebrez. The 11 of Mark Rice. Also out there, got to look at my cheat sheet. 54, Steve Posey. There's a name that should sound familiar to a lot of us. Roger Baker in the 51, and then the 58 of Pete Alexander. lap number 1, car number 14, Dave Dysart. Second is that the 00 of Bill Linden? I believe it is. Dave Dysart getting to be an old veteran at this. One of the originals. When the Legends cars first popped up in this area, one of the original drivers who first come out here and buy one of his cars, and Pat Flanagan wanting to help mow the grass tonight. Did a nice job, came right back on the track over there in turn 2. Owner, proprietor of Flanagan's Pub. Spent a little bit of time there myself. Dave Dysart, still your leader. Bill Linden running second. Third is the somebody car. I can't tell. All these are white cars out here. That is the 58 of Pete Alexander. As they work their way around the slow-moving Pat Flanagan in the 4 car. Flanagan having that problem a little bit earlier with the agricultural racing as Dave Dysart comes out at turn 4 for the white flag. 1 lap to go. Or so says flagman Dan Hammond. And your winner, car number 14, Dave Dysart. Coming home second will be the 00 Bill Linden. Mark Rice third. Fourth will go to Pat Flanagan. And then the 54 of Steve Posey finishes 5th. Once again, your winner, car number 14, Dave Dysart. Heat race number 3, the third and final heat race for the Legends car. 61, Jeff Denny. 93, Larry Bells. 31, Terry Schurz. 25, Buck Sloan. 63 is Scott Walter. 15, Rich Wood. And I missed the back one. 35, Chris McCombs. Of course it is. Lap number 1, Jeff Denny in the 61 machine. Yes, we got a good battle. Legends cars have had a few weeks off here from KilKare Speedway, and they are making up for it. Good battles in all 3 heat races that we've had out tonight. Second place is the 93, I believe, of Larry Bales. Is that right? Yes, it is. The 25 of Buck Sloan on the outside, looking for a way around. Jeff Denny, still your leader. Larry Bells running second. Bell's another one of those drivers that have been getting faster and faster. Jeff Denny, still your leader. And now Sloan, Buck Sloan, closing on his back bumper. The paper says Virgil, but the car says Buck Sloan in car number 25, now battling for the lead with Jeff Denny in the 61 machine. And now side by side coming out of turn 4, we have a new leader, car number 2025, Buck Sloan. White flags out. car number 25, Buck Sloan. 61 of Chuck Denny. I've been saying Jeff Denny, but looks like Chuck Denny's out there tonight. The 61 machine, he finishes second. 63, Scott Walter comes on third. 15, Rich Wood fourth. And rounding out your top five, the 31 of Terry Schurz. Once again, your winner, car number 25, Buck Sloan. Team race number one for the Pro Stocks. 31, Turpin. At 4, Ron Lewis. 52, Mike Miller. 78, Virgil Powell. 2, Rich Miller. And that's it. Team race number one in a moment, green flag. Came out with a lead at that mess that they called a green flag start. Second place belongs to 78 of Virgil Powell with Mike Miller holding on to that third spot. Turpin, 31 with a spin. That'll bring out a caution. On restart, it will be Ron Lewis, Virgil Powell, Mike Miller, Rich Miller, and Rick Turpin. Your five-car field for the first team race for the Pro Stocks. Once again, your winner, car number 4, Ron Lewis. In race number 2 for the Pro Stocks coming up here. Looks like John Maloney's going to come out on the front row of this one. Visibly absent tonight, Ryan Dunleavy. Daryl Norman outside row number 1. Then it's Jeff Wilson, Ellison Rentz Jr., and then the 22 of David Chakowski. First time back after the first weekend. And if you weren't here the first week, unfortunately, we don't have it on video. But him and Rich Miller, who also has a new car out here, been back out a few weeks, they tried to tear the wall down in turn 4 and did a very good job of doing it. Busted it in half. In a moment, green flag lap. First time back out for David Chakowski. Welcome back, David. Back stretch flagman Don Betty's telling them to get up and go, boys. It's green flag time, and John Maloney gets the jump on the start. Jeff Wilson running second, Daryl Norman in third. Wilson now looking to the inside and through for the lead. Jeff Wilson, car number 97, now leads it. John Maloney back to second. Third belongs to Daryl Norman, but I don't think for long. Jeff Wilson, your leader. And your winner will be car number 97, Jeff Wilson. John Maloney comes home second, Allison Red Street third. Fourth will go to Daryl Norman. And rounding out your 5-car field will be the 22 of David Bukowski. Once again, your winner, car number 97, Jeff Wilson. Oh, sometimes I love working at a racetrack. Alrighty, 91 Scott Drake, inside front row. He raced number 1 for the late models. Jerry Stapleton outside row number 1. Then it's the 75 Gary Estes, 98 Chris Dunn, 70 Joe Hill, 8 Greg Stapleton, and the 27. Oh, got a look at my cheat sheets as we get ready to go to green. 27 Brian Brandenberry. Scott Drake, still your leader. Gary Estes, he's back up for second. It's Joe Hill and Jerry Stapleton. Scott Drake really hooked up here tonight in the 91 machine. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 91, Scott Drake. And your winner will be car number 91, Scott Drake. Gary Estes brings it home second. Third will go to Joe Hill. Fourth is the Jerry Stapleton machine. And rounding out your top 5 will be car number 98, Chris Dunn. Once again, your winner from my hometown of Xenia, Ohio, Scott Drake. He raced number 2, Carl Stapleton, inside row number 1, 01 Chink Race. Then 2, Dave Brandenburg, 22, John Vallow, 17, Sam Heckman, 34, Dave Ellis, 53 is Dave Barnhart. 53, Russ Bob. By side for the lead now. Give the advantage to the 33 Carl Stapleton. 01 Gene Grace running second. Still looking on that high lane. Dave Brandenburg in third. 22 John Vallow runs fourth. And Sam Heckman now looking to the inside of the Vallow machine. Carl Stapleton, your leader. Wolf is on the prowl. Still trying to find a way around. He runs second as Carl Stapleton having this one all his own way. Turn number 4, your winner will be card number 33, Carl Stapleton. Coming home second will be the 01 of Gene Grace. Third will be Dave Brandenburg. Fourth to the 17 of Sam Heckman. And rounding out your top 5 will be card number 22, John Vallow. Once again, your winner, car number 33, Carl Stapleton. Gotta be one of my favorite divisions out here. The mini stocks, or sometimes called the mini sport trucks. We have a little bit of both in here. It's the 6 of Ron Wells, Kenny Rutherford in the 9 outside row number 1. 17 is the Frank Hart machine. And then let's see who's inside row or outside row number 2. Got to wait for them to come by the camera as we get ready to go. 45 Eddie Floor outside row number 2, Roddy Shirk and Brian Brewer. 60 Jerry Moore. 99 is grabbing the cheat sheet. 99 is Robert Moreau, and then the three of Ronnie Shirk and the Rick Bates machine, car number 24. Rutherford in that 4th position, and once again we see that sun becoming a factor over turn number 3 as we see from the Bill Yo shot, and he swings around and boom, sunshine. That's what it looks like just about in these guys' windshield. Probably a little bit worse than that. The cameras are more forgiving. Chips are not forgiving though. That could burn a hole in the chip sooner or later. But we don't care. And Ronnie Shirk with his weekly spin. Thank you, Ronnie. Leader. running second as the white flag comes out. And no, you're not seeing things. That is a number 17 car that Frank Harvey is driving. And your winner will be the 6 of Ron Wells, coming home second. Frank Harvey in the 17. Third will go to the 45 Betty Floor. Fourth to the 9 of Kenny Rutherford, and rounding out your top 5 will be car truck number 60, Jerry Moore. And in the truck number 6, your winner, Ron Wells. Race number 1 for the modifieds. Ralph Herod, Dan Williams, Dick Dunleavy Jr., Mike Carroll, Gary Smith. 10 of Steve Snap, 58 is Kevin Colvin. And I'm missing one car, Ed Lorenz in the 17. Lap number 1 will be the 28 of Ralph Herod. Dunleavy running in second. Gary Smith third. Smith looks to the inside of Dunleavy coming through turn 4. Dunleavy slips a little bit and 1 and 2 on the high side. And now Gary Smith battling with Dick Dunleavy for second place. And now Gary Smith is over there for that second spot. Smith with a spin coming out of turn 4. And now Dunleavy looking to the high side of Ralph Herod. Contact. And Herod goes around. But I believe Ralph Herod was across the line first. And official scoring says Ralph Herod, car number 28, your winner. Dick Dunleavy comes home second. Third will go to the 1 of Mike Carroll. Fourth to the 88 of Dan Williams, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 10 of Steve Snap. Oh, and I don't think Ralph Herod's happy. He got the win, but he's not happy. He raced number 2 for the modified. 76 is Frank Harris. Outside him, 42, Jim Lewis Jr. 31 of Don Fleming Jr. The 3 of Jerry Stapleton. The 2 of Steve Rickard. 86 is, I don't remember. 5 is Sky Hinkle. 6 is Derek Barnett. The 86 car is Roy Sowers. I'm sorry, Roy. Side for the lead, lap number 1. Frank Harris on the inside, Jim Lewis Jr. on the outside. Don Fleming Jr. right there in third position. Wow, what a battle. And Frank Harris sideways going through turn 4. Everybody keeps going. Jim Lewis Jr. slight advantage through turns 1 and 2. Oh, and contact in turn 4. Man, good racing. Jim Lewis Jr., your leader. Frank Harris now runs second. 31, Don Fleming Jr. third. Contact between Frank Harris and the 31 and Don Fleming Jr. Everybody gathers it back together. And now Don Fleming Jr. takes over that second spot. Frank Harris now runs third as the white flag comes out for your leader, Jim Lewis Jr. Derek Barnett slow over in turn 1. He'll get off on the 8th-mile track. Or is it a 5th-mile track? It depends on who you talk to. The inside track. Your winner, car number 42, Jim Lewis Jr. No, I won't say anything about him having the real inside track. Second goes to Don Fleming Jr. 31. Third to Frank Harris in the 76 to Steve Rickert. Comes home fourth, and the 5 of Sky Hinkle finishes in the 5th position. Car number 42, Jim Lewis Jr. You're a winner. Deer Stock Heat Race number 1, Chris Pawpaw and Jeff Marsh inside row number 1. 675, Brian Cottrell. 88, Ken Burnett. 90, Steve Shaw, and out back, the 9 of Jason Schaefer. Pawpaw, car number 57, takes over the lead. Chris Pawpaw in a Chevy, by the way. And the 71 of Jeff Marsh runs second. 75 of Brian Cottrell in third. Cottrell looks to the inside of Marsh, down the front straightaway. Woo. That looks like a good close finish in turn number 1. Jeff Marsh still has second, but Brian Cottrell hasn't given up the pedal just quite yet. Pawpaw, your leader. Good battle for second between the 75 of Brian Cottrell. He's side. Oh, and contact. 71 of Jeff Marsh comes up and says hello to the concrete in turn number 4. And your winner will be car number 57, Chris Pawpaw. Coming home second will be the 75 of Brian Cottrell. Third will go to the 88 of Ken Burnett, fourth to the 71 of Jeff Marsh, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 9 of Jason Schaefer. Once again, your winner, car number 57 in the Chevy, Chris Pawpaw. Team race number 2, Tim Dilge and Gary Seitz, Craig Conover and Sean Miller, then Jeremy Eberty, and out back, John Schmidt. Speedway, and Gary Sides with a problem right at the start and heads right to the pit area in the 98 machine. It looked like he was going to go for the lead and almost had it. Coming across the line, something broke on the car. We saw brief sparks from underneath, and Gary Sides just said, "See ya, fellas." Your leader is, wait a minute. See, it looks like it's going to be the 6 of Craig Connor, 53 Tim Bilge running second. Third belongs to the 24 of Sean Miller. Craig Conover, your leader. Sean Miller looks to the high side of Tim Bilge down the front straightaway. High side, battle for second between Miller and Bilge. Craig Conover still your leader in the 6 machine. White flag comes out for your leader, car number 6, Craig Conover. Your battle for second. And we got a couple spinning down the front stretch. Caution comes back out, or comes out, for the 8 machine of John Schmidt and the 98 of Gary Sides. I guess Sides came back out. I didn't see him come back out on the track just in time to get involved in this incident with the 8 machine. On the restart, it will be Craig Conover, the 24 of Sean Miller, the 1 of Jeremy Everding. That's it. And we will get the green, white, and checkers. Craig Conover is still your leader, but Sean Miller is going to have something to say about this, as is Jeremy Everding. White flag, 1 lap to go. Your leader, car number 6, Craig Conover. And your winner will be car number 6, Craig Conover. Coming up second will be the 24 of Sean Miller. Third will go to Jeremy Everding and the 1 machine. Fourth will be the 53 of Tim Bilge, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 98 of Gary Sides. Once again, your winner, car number 6, Craig Conover. That's it for the heat races tonight. That means it's intermission for us here, and it means the features will be up in just a moment, so hang on. And now intermission is over with. We've all gotten us a bite to eat and a little bit of time to erase the cobwebs out of our brains. So we are ready to go feature racing. Our first one up tonight is the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks. Inside row number 1 will be the 20 of Ellis Lawrence Jr. Outside him, number 4, that's Ron Lewis. Row number 2 is the 31 of Rick Turpin and the 3 of Darrell Norman. In row number 3, car number 12, John Maloney, and the 52 of Mike Miller. In row number 4, car number 97, Jeff Wilson, and the 78 of Virgil Powell. And out back in row number 5, car number 2, Rich Miller, and the 22 of David Jakowski. Second between Mike Miller and Darrell Norman. We got a couple spinning over in turn 2. That's the 31 of Rick Turpin and the 78 of Virgil Powell. That will bring out a caution. Also, we got the 97 of Jeff Wilson that will spin over in turn 4. And John Maloney was also involved. He's up there over turn 2. So we got quite a few cars. A little bit of damage on the 22 of David Jakowski. And we were going to get the white flag, but the cars aren't in the proper order, so we're going to go at least one more lap and get them along the line. On the restart, Ron Lewis, Daryl Norman, Mike Miller, John Maloney, and David Jakowski, the top 5 cars.
One lap in, 19 to go.
Closing on the 4 of Ron Lewis. Mike Miller a little bit more. Just a little bit closer, that time down the back straightaway. Now in turn 4, and he moves up even more as he is closing on your leader of the 4 car, Ron Lewis. Something blows in the Mike Miller machine down the back straightaway. He was closing on your leader, Ron Lewis, and now problems for the second place car number 52, Mike Miller. That is the closest car, the second place car, John Maloney, about a half a lap behind the 4 of Ron Lewis. Now Ron Lewis with a comfortable lead over the second place car. 78 Virgil Powell just moving around the Daryl Norman machine for 3rd. Powell now runs 3rd. As these group of cars go down the front stretch and the Ron Lewis machine goes down the back stretch and vice versa. So about a half a lap is what Ron Lewis has on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As we look at it right here, John Maloney, Virgil Powell, Daryl Norman, and David Jakowski. And even closer, Ron Lewis could end up lapping the entire field before the end of this race. That car is flying. Virgil Powell now moving to the high lane, looking for a way around the John Maloney machine. And now Virgil Powell takes over that second spot from Maloney. But without a caution, I don't think he has a chance to catch the leader, Ron Lewis, unless something happens to that 4 car. As you see the 78 of Virgil Powell just moving out of our shot as Ron Lewis is coming into the shot. So about 3/4 of a lap lead on the rest of the pack for your leader, car number 4, Ron Lewis. Getting the move over flag from backstretch flagman Don Betties. And just as soon as they do that, they go 2 wide. That's listening to the flagman, boys. Ron Lewis now goes to put a lap on the 97 of Jeff Wilson. And it looks looks like he will stay to the inside, even though he wanted to move to the outside. Didn't want to go a lap down, but moved to the inside, let the leader go past. Dick Turpin now getting the move over flag by backstretch flagman Don Bettis. One lap to go for your leader, car number 4, Ron Lewis. And your winner out of turn number 4 will be Ron Lewis in the number 4 car. Coming home second will be 78 of Virgil Powell. Third will go to John Maloney. Fourth, Daryl Norman just edging out the 22 of David Jakowski. And Jakowski will round out your top 5. So once again, your winner, car number 4, Ron Lewis. It's time for our premier division, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. Late models are pulling up on the track for their feature event tonight. Inside, row number 1, car number 91, Scott Drake, and outside of him, the 01 of Gene Grace. Row number 2, car number 33, Carl Stapleton, the number 2 of Dave Brandenburg. Row number 3, 22, John Vallow, outside of him, the 98 of Chris Stopp. Row number 4, car number 75, Gary Estes, in the 72 of Jerry Stapleton in the Ford. Row number 5, car number 17, Sam Heckman, in the 70 of Joe Hill. Row number 6, 34, Dave Ellis, in the 18 of Greg Stapleton. And in row number 7, car number 3, Dave Barnhart, in the 53 of Russ Bobb. And out back in row number 8, car number 27, Brian Brandeberry.
Gary Estes, the 75 car alongside.
Scott Drake. Second belongs to the 33, Carl Stapleton. Gene Grace running third. John Vallow holding on to fourth. And a battle for fifth right now between Chris Stump and Dave Brandenburg. Now moving into that fifth place battle in the 75 machine as Chris Stump looks to the inside of John Vallow down the front straightaway. 91 Scott Drake still your leader. Carl Stapleton running second, Gene Grace third. Drake now opening up about a 25-30 car lead on the second place car, Carl Stapleton. Gene Grace, John Ballot, and Chris Stump rounding out your top five. Second, Carl Stapleton on the inside, Chris Stump on the outside. The leader will be coming up on some lap cars. We saw them in the shot there in just a moment. As we still watch this battle for second between Carl Stapleton and Chris Stump. Scott Drake now closing on the 34 of Dave Ellis. And moves to the high side of Dave Ellis and around, putting Ellis a lap down. Stocks, your leader with about a half a car length lead on the second place battle here as Carl Stapleton and Chris Stump continue the battle lap after lap after lap, side by side. And now your leader, Scott Drake, going to put a lap on the 53 of Russ Bob. With a good run here tonight. And continuing the battle side by side with the Russ Bob machine to put him a lap down, and now does so over in turn two. But Russ Bob battles back down to back straightaway. That car really doesn't want to go a lap down. Oh, and a little sideways. I thought there was almost some contact there. And now Scott Drake gets around and puts Russ Bob a lap down. We go back to the second place battle. Carl Stapleton, Gene Grace, and Chris Stump. And then right behind them is the 72 of Jerry Stapleton and the 22 of John Ballo. right, 1 lap to go. We got cars spinning down the front stretch. The 75 of Gary Estes, the 18 of Greg Stapleton. Situation to the pro stocks, but we're going to go green. The lineup's not quite correct, so we'll go at least another lap. All right, on the restarting will be the 91 of Scott Drake. Carl Stapleton in second, Chris Stubb third. Fourth will belong to the 72, Gary Estes, and fifth, John Vallow in the 22. Your leader, car number 91, Scott Gray. And your winner will be car number 91, Scott Gray. Coming home second will be the Carl Stapleton machine, car number 33. Third will go to the 98 of Chris Stump. Fourth to the 72 of Jerry Stapleton, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 22 of John Vallow. Once again, your winner, car number 91, Scott Drake. And now pulling out onto the track is the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series E-Modifieds for their feature event. They're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1 is Jim Lewis Jr. Outside of him, the 11 of Dick Dunleavy Jr. Row number 2, car number 28, Ralph Harrod, and the 2 car of Steve Rickard. Row number 3, 31, Don Fleming Jr., and the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. In row number 4, car number 1, Mike Carroll, and the 88 of Dan Williams. Row number 5, 76, Frank Harris, and the 25 of Gary Smith. Row number 6, car number 17, Ed Lawrence, and the 86 of Roy Sowers. Row number 7, car number 58, Kevin Cullen, and the 10 of Steve Snap. Row number 8, 5 of Sky Hinkle, and the 6 of Derek Burnett. And in row number 9, car number 15, Kevin Bloxham. Give a slight advantage to Jim Lewis Jr., but Dunleavy on the high side, running in second, right there. And now Dunleavy slips a little bit in turn 4, slips back in behind the Jim Lewis Jr. machine momentarily. Lewis takes over the lead, all to the Sultan. Third place belongs to the one of Mike Carroll, I believe. No, scratch that. The 28 of Ralph Harrod, I believe that is, in that third position. Your leader is still Jim Lewis Jr. in the 42. Moves to the high side of Ralph Harrod, battle for third. Also Mike Carroll right there on the inside. Dunleavy running second. Third belongs to the 31 of Don Fleming Jr. Contact between Dunleavy and Lewis Jr. As those two cars were going down the front straightaway, Dunleavy went to pass the 42 of Jim Lewis Jr. and there was some contact. There are problems for your former leader, the 42 of Jim Lewis Jr. as he is rolling to a stop on the backstretch, and caution will come out for the 42 machine, Jim Lewis Jr. Is flat tire, must be the right rear. Yes, the right rear tire is flat, so when Dunleavy and Lewis made contact, it must have punctured the right rear tire, and it went flat on the Jim Lewis Jr. machine. Now Dunleavy going to the pit area. Dick Dunleavy Jr. also with a flat tire. I bet it's either the left front or left rear of his car. As I said before, the contact that was made between those two cars. So your two leaders being taken out. And just barely enough contact as Dunleavy moved around to go around the Jim Lewis Jr. machine. All right, on the restart, it will be Don Fleming Jr., Mike Carroll, Ralph Herron, Steve Rickard, and Jerry Stapleton, your top five now, as your two leaders both having to go to the pit area for flat tires. Got one spinning over in four. That's the 76 of Frank Harris. And with 6 laps to go, once again, your leader is Don Fleming Jr., Mike Carroll second, Ralph Herron, Steve Rickard, and Jerry Stapleton rounding out your top five. The 11 car of Dick Dunleavy is back out on the track. I believe he's still on the lead lap. I don't believe he went a lap down, as he had to go to the pits for that flat tire. Look to the inside of Scott Hinkle with the 5 machine. Working that high lane, trying to find a way around Don Fleming Jr. as the laps continue to tick away in this modified feature. left to go for your leader, Don Fleming Jr. Mike Carroll now moves to the high side once again down the back stretch. But it's going to be too little too late. Your winner is Don Fleming Jr. in car number 31. Coming home second is Mike Carroll in the 1 machine. Third will go to Ralph Perrin in car number 28. Fourth to the 2 of Steve Rickard. And finishing the top 5, rounding out the top 5, the car number 3 of Jerry Stapleton. Once again, your winner, car number 31, Don Fleming Jr. All right, now it's time for the Legends cars for their feature event, and they're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1, car number 61, that's Chuck Denny. Outside him, the 00 of Bill Linden. Inside row number 2, car number 68, Greg Boyd, and the 25 of Buck Sloan. Row number 3 is the 14 of Dave Dysart and the 75 of Ronnie Souders. Row number 4 is car number 0, Ken Rice, and the 11 of Mark Rice. Row number 5, car number 63, Scott Walter, and the 2 of Mike Brodus. Row number 6 is car number 4, Pat Flanagan, and the 15 of Rich Wood. In row number 7, car number 27, Brian Sloan, and outside of him, the 54, Steve Posey. Row number 8, car number 31, Terry Schurz, and the 59 of Brian Knuckles. Row number 9, 58, Pete Alexander, and the 93 of Larry Bales. In row number 10, car number 88, Mike Ladman, and the 51 of Roger Baker. 35, Chris McCombs, and the 41 of Tony Celebrezzi make up row number 11. And in row number 12, car number 10, Larry Martin. Something went off of one of the cars. Some contact was made. Looks like some pieces came off of one of the cars. We got a car spun over in turn 2. That's the 4 of Pat Flanagan. And we got a piece of debris right down on the track. And we got a whole bunch of cars spinning over in turn 4. Somebody didn't get woke down in time. Looks like Bill Linden involved. Buck Sloan is involved in the 25 car and the 75 of Ronnie Souders. All right, complete two wide start. Chuck Denny sitting on the front row. Outside front row now is the 68 of Greg Boyd. Several cars, in fact 3 cars, as we get the green flag and we are racing once again. 3 cars, in fact, were involved in that, and this car was right up near the front. Took us a few minutes to get the lineup re-sorted out, and we got one spinning already. Looks like the 54 of Steve Posey, I believe it was. And he finds the fire and keeps on, and we stay green. The 3 cars that were involved in that accident were Buck Sloan in the 25 car, 75 Ronnie Souders, and the 00 Bill Linden, who started on the outside pole originally. You see Brian Knuckles moving up through the pack in the 59 machine. Brian, of course, the grandson of Jim Knuckles, owner of Columbus Motor Speedway. Is 11 of Mark Rice, 68 Greg Boyd runs second. Third belongs to, let's see, who is that? Looks like the 63 of Scott Walter, and then fourth is the 0 of Ken Rice with Mike Brodus rounding out your top 5. spinning just out of turn 4, and one up high in turn 4 spun. Looks like the 41 of Tony Celebreze is one of the cars, and I'm not sure who that other car was. Caution back out. I think it might have been the 35 of Sean McCombs, but I'm not sure. On the restart, it will be Mark Rice, Greg Boyd, Scott Walter, Ken Rice, and Mike Rodas, your top 5. Brian Knuckles moving up through the pack still. Goes around the outside of Chuck Denny. That is for 7th. The 59 of Brian Knuckles now runs 7th. And he started way back in the pack, so good run for the 59 machine. Your leader still Mark Rice in the 11. Ray Boyd runs 2nd. Ken Rice 3rd. Side of Dave Dysart for that 6th position. And now Brian Knuckles runs 6th. Looking to the inside now of your 2nd place car, 0 Ken Rice. Greg Boyd on the outside. And Ken Rice now takes over 2nd. Boyd back to 3rd. Underneath the slow-moving Larry Bells in 93. And I thought we had a couple getting together. I thought I saw something, but I guess I didn't. Your leader's still the 11 of Mark Rice. 0 Ken Rice now looking to the inside, coming out of turn 4. Side by side for the lead. The 11 of Mark Rice outside, Ken Rice inside. And now Ken Rice, car number 0, your leader. There is the 35 of Chris McCombs. Sean McCombs, of course, is a 53 car. That is Chris McCombs in the 35. Getting a lap put on him. And there's a shot of your 3rd place car, the 68 of Greg Boyd. Bell getting shown the move over flag. The 93 moves to the inside. Leaders go around. Ken Rice still your leader. Mark Rice now looking like he wants to move back around the 0 machine. And we got one spinning just out of turn 4. I believe that's the 68 of Greg Boyd. And Scott Walter almost blessing. On the restart, it will be Ken Rice in the 0, the 11 of Mark Rice, the 2 of Mike Rodas, 63 Scott Walter. Knuckles machines having to go to the tail for the instant. So tough break for those 2 cars. Both of those cars running up in the top 5, top 6. Dave Dysart in the 14 looks to the high side, I believe it's Scott Walter. That battle back there for the 4th position. Right there in the 61 machine. Your leader Ken Rice. Mark Rice running second in the 11 car. As we see Brian Knuckles and Greg Boyd trying to work their way back up through the pack. One lap to go for your leader, car number 0, Ken Rice. And your winner will be car number 0, Ken Rice. Coming home second will be the 11 of Mark Rice. Third will go to Mike Brodus. Fourth to Dave Dysart. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 63 of Scott Walter. Once again, your winner, car number 0, Ken Rice. And Brian Knuckles, after having to go to the tail for that earlier incident, comes back up and finishes just out of the top 5 in that 6th position. As I said before, your winner, Ken Rice, car number 0, winner of the Legends Car feature tonight. And now back to the weekly racing series for NASCAR, the mini stocks. Coming out for their feature event. Inside row number 1, car number 3, Ronnie Shirk. Outside of him, the 17 car of Frank Harvey. Row number 2, the 45 truck of Eddie Flora, and the 60 truck of Jerry Moore. In row number 3, the 9 of Kenny Rutherford, the 6 of Ron Wells. Row number 4, truck number 10, Brian Brewer, and the car of Rick Bates. And out back, the 99 of Robert Baroque.
He'll be the 3, Ronnie Shirk.
Down the backstretch in the 9. Complete restart, no laps complete. Garvey and moves around. Ron Wells, your new leader. The 17 of Frank Garvey now runs second as the 9-9 of Robert Baroque takes it to the pit area. Third belongs to the 60 of Jerry Moore. Your leader is the 6 of Ron Wells. Number 6, Ron Wells coming home second. The 17 of Frank Harvey. 45 Eddie Flora will finish third. Fourth will go to the 9 of Kenny Rutherford, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 60 of Jerry Moore. Once again, your winner, truck number 6, Ron Wells. All right, our final feature of the night, NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pure Stocks coming out on the track. Inside row number 1 is the 53 of Tim Dilge. Outside him, 71, Jeff Marsh. Row number 2 is 57, Chris Pawpaw, and the 98 of Gary Seitz. Inside row number 3, 75, Brian Cottrell, and the 24 of Sean Miller. Row number 4, car number 88, Ken Burnett, and the 6 of Craig Conover. Row number 5 is car number 90, Steve Shaw, and the 1 of Jeremy Everding outside of him. And in row number 6, car number 8, John Schmidt, and outside of him, the 9 of Jason Shaver. Ragtag start, but we are going and we are racing. Your leader is 53 Tim Dilge, running second, 71 Jeff Marsh. Third belongs to the 57 of Chris Pawpaw. Everybody almost a little swirly out and down the back straightaway. 53 Tim Dilge was Jeff Marsh. I think the only one that wasn't in the top 3 was the 57 of Chris Pawpaw. Now Marsh looks to the high side of Tim Dilge, going through turns 1 and 2. And sparks coming from the Tim Dilge machine. Problem for Tim Dilge. He waves his hand. He's trying to get out of people's way. Everybody's scrambling. Tim Dilge with a problem in the 53 machine. Here's the 71 of Jeff Marsh. Running second is the 57 of Chris Popaw. Tough break for the 53 machine of Tim Dilge. Something let loose. We saw some sparks come out from underneath the underside of the car, and then Tim Dilge started waving his hands and started backing out of it. So problem. Tough break. Chris Popaw in the meantime closing on the 71 of Jeff Marsh. Chris Popaw runs second, 88 of Ken Burnett in the third position. Then comes, I believe, Brian Cottrell in the 75. Chris Popaw takes a look to the inside, down the backstretch, but Marsh slams the door in turn 3, says, no way, no thank you. Slips a little bit in turn 4, and Chris Popaw takes a look underneath again, but can't quite get it down there in time. Leaders go around the 8 of John Schmidt. Right there on his back bumper. And contact between the 57 Chris Popaw and Jeff Marsh. I believe Marsh has a tire going down. The left rear tire on the 71 machine is going flat. Everybody scrambles to get around. Chris Popaw, now you're your leader. Second, white flag comes out. 1 lap to go. Second belongs to Brian Cottrell. Cottrell looks to the inside in the grass in turn 2. Can't quite get the job done. And your winner will be, as we got him spinning over in turn 1. Oh, caution comes out and checkered flag comes out at the same time. Steve Shaw with a spin right at the end of the race. Also contact between Craig Conover and the 1 of Jeremy Everding. So let's see. Your winner is the 57 of Chris Popaw. Coming home second, Brian Cottrell in the 75. Third will go to Sean Miller. Fourth to Craig Conover. And rounding out your top 5 will be the 88th of Ken Burnett. Once again, your winner, car number 57, Chris Popaw. I'd like to thank you all for buying this Pinstroke Productions At the Track videotape. Please keep in mind that we not only videotape here at KilKare Speedway each and every week, but at Columbus Motor Speedway also, following the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. For my wife, Kim, my partner, Bill Yo, our production assistants, Mike Brown and Katie Moore, I'm Nate Pennington, and we'll see you next week at the track.
Congratulations, Chris Popaw.